Hello viewers, myself Parthasarathi Mukhopadhyay. I am professor in the Department of Library and Information Science, University of Kalyani in West Bengal. Today we will be discussing the changing roles of public libraries. You can remember that we have already underwent in the previous tutorial the emerging changes in the information landscape. Let's have a review of the changes what we already noted down. First important change is information explosion. Information is now available with us from many different resources, from different varieties of channels in a huge rate. So it's very difficult to cope up with information explosion, and libraries need to take a role in shaping information services by actually arresting the trend of information misuse and information jungle. Next important thing is coming is the rapid growth in user-centered information. Nowadays, users are not only information consumer, they are also contributor of information. Take for example the Wikipedia, take for example unprecedented number of blogs where users use information, retrieve information as well as post information to create a huge information reservoir. The next important change is occurring in the method of accessing, using and interacting with information. Now, information is not only available in the printed domain or in the digital domain. Both are merging together to give us a huge information landscape. And that information landscape or reservoir can be accessed by using a number of tools: computer, smartphones, handheld devices. So computing is again becoming multimodal and multinodal. Next important change is happening is the social nature of information. You see, nowadays the information is not a monologue. That means libraries are providing information to the user. Now we need to provide mechanism so that users can also become a part of the development process. They can contribute information to the library. I am giving you an example. Say for example, you are actually providing different kind of subject heading by using standard vocabulary list, but we never know that whether the categories or descriptors we are providing is really helpful to the users or not. So let us allow user to donate their term into the library through library OPAC for indexing subject descriptors of library resources. This will benefit the dialogue of information, that means two-way communication of information, and by using standard vocabulary devices you are supporting the literary warrant, and by allowing user to provide taxonomy or to provide descriptor by their own, you are supporting user warrant. So this kind of matching is actually happening nowadays, and this is the social nature of information. Next important factor or changing factor is the outreach activities. Nowadays, technology provides you the required ingredients through which you can go beyond the four wall of the libraries to reach the unreached. So that technological advantages are used all over in the world by the libraries. And next important changing parameter is coming is the joint of information system. That means nowadays libraries are not operating in isolation. They are integrating their resource base with many other resource base available in the regional, state level, national level as well as in the global level. So these are the changes happening in the information landscape. We already discussed this in detail. Now, how your library services can be changed to keep pace with the changing environment? That is the most burning question present in the present era. Now you need to develop a kind of service, a kind of service groups through which your libraries is becoming interactive, collaborative and participative web space. That means you are not only providing a simple search and retrieval service anymore. You are providing your search and retrieval user interface with an array of other resources which makes that particular web space interactive, two-way communication, collaborative. User can provide their ratings, their reviews, their knowledge, their wisdom, and participative. That means your users are co-developer of the library services. So that is one change. Now next you need to change at the service level. You need to provide a mechanism through which your libraries must be available in the anywhere anytime basis, because you see why internet became so popular in the within 30-40 odd years. Have you ever thought of it? Because internet is the only technology which is powered by the any to the power 6. That means any information can be accessed by anyone at any time, from anywhere, in any language and in any format. So if you are using internet or web as a platform to deliver your library services, you are becoming independent of time and space. And please remember that time and space are the two fundamental barriers to access information. Now you need to orient your library services in web enabled format to support n to the power 6, and at the same time you need to change your system level, because if you do not change your system level you cannot produce the required services, and if you cannot produce required services, the social interaction, the dream of interactive, collaborative and participative library will not fulfill. So system level you need to change. You need to use as far as possible the open contents. You will be amazed to know 80 million scholarly resources nowadays available in the internet free of cost. Public libraries which are basically struggling with the fund can see it. The open access movement can provide the required ingredients to the public library to avail open contents, because through this movement 80 million open access resources including the learning objects are available free of cost, distributed across the globe. Sometimes it's very difficult to retrieve, but as a public librarian of a public library, if you can tap the resource, if you can organize the resource, it will be a heaven of information for your users. Now these open contents you can manage or organize by using open source software. Different open source softwares are available, and by using open standards, because you please remember that almost all softwares are based on standards, and if your software is not based on open standards, then it is not truly an open source software. For example, in the library domain we are using all standards which are open standard. Mark 21 is an open standard. You are using UDC as a classification system, it's an open standard. DDC is an open standard. Then ACR2 is an open standard. ISBD is open standard. So please check that the software you are using, whether it is supporting open standards or not. Open standards are mainly providing scope for interoperability and exchange of information, so that your information can be given to other libraries and other library can provide information to you, and you can integrate that information into your system. Now these are all ongoing changes in the information landscape, but as a public library, uh, as a librarian of a public library, you need to provide emphasis on basic literacy, information literacy, providing community and referral services, providing consumer information, cultural awareness, information related to current topics and titles, formal learning support, general information, information produced by the government, and lifelong learning. A public library as a people's university should create an environment where you can support lifelong learning, And as per the UNESCO Public Library Manifesto, as per the IFLA guideline, nowadays public libraries are considered as local history and genealogy center or local information center. So as a librarian of a public library, it is your duty to collect all local history information, genealogy, then tourism information, places of interest, person of importance, directory of artists, all these you can create locally. That information product can be very helpful for your user community, not only at the local level but also at the global level, because nowadays digital technology providing you the required infrastructure through which your local information can move towards the global level. So public libraries are changing all over the world. It's not that only academic and research libraries are progressing. So it is now time to reflect the same change in the domain of Indian public libraries. So Indian public libraries are basically, you see, after the 60 odd years of independence, our public library sector is still a neglected sector. Presently only 19 states out of 35 states enacted library legislation. Automation is not happening in public libraries at large scale. So on this particular backdrop, we need to focus our task according to the following process. First, we need to automate our library operations and services. Then after automating your libraries, you need to design different kind of innovative information services. You can target the micro industry if your library is located in an industrial belt. You can target agricultural information as thrust area if your library is located in an agricultural or you are serving a large population of agricultural farmers. So as a whole, to innovate new kind of services, you can take the help of different community information service model. This video tutorials also includes a module on community information service that you can consult, and various other support services you can also include as a part of the public library services. Third important thing is, as we told, that it is the local cultural center. A public library is the local cultural center in your locality. So try to develop a framework through which you can collect local history, you can collect tourism information, you can collect cultural and heritage objects. Then after collection you can slowly convert those particular objects or entities into digital format and finally disseminate through a digital retrieval system. So as a whole, the target of the public libraries are to reduce digital divide. You already know there are different kind of divides in the society, but recently digital divide attracts our attention because it's such a fundamental division that it will again create a two-way segmentation in the society, information rich and information poor. So as a public library professional, you need to reduce this digital divide by providing different kind of digital services, sources, tools to the disadvantaged sections of the society. You should support social inclusion because inclusive growth is the demand of the time. You should support or develop rather develop partnership with other institutes like Panchayati Raj institutes, local self government. You can follow different kind of public private partnership models or initiative. Finally, you need to provide outreach and extension services through community information services. Now on this backdrop or context, if we go for a set of roles, if we go for designing a set of roles what public libraries should play in the society, particularly in the Indian society, then uh, we will arrive into the following conclusion. Role 1. First, we need to proper training orientation to our users for accessing different kind of web resources available through open access movement, available from the government websites, how they can actually use internet, how can they access information through web, how can they download, print, all these basic skills first you need to teach to your users as the famous user orientation services. And public libraries need to use different kind of open contents like scholarly contents, open learning object and other associated objects. They need to teach the users different kind of search and retrieval tools, what are the categories available, how they can use those search entities for accessing information very quickly and very productively. Now, to support the role 1, that is to provide the information literacy to access different kind of web resources, you need to know that the whole web provides only 3 categories of search tools. One is the subject directory, second is the search engine, and third is the meta search engine. Subject directories are basically a set of highly relevant documents collected and indexed by the human indexer. So what they are doing basically, they are not providing huge number of documents like search engines. They are providing you a very small set of highly relevant document. For example, the directory provided by the demos, the directory provided by the infomine, and you will be amazed to know that in the internet arena, lot of public libraries are coming up to develop this kind of pathfinder services. For example, if you go to librarians index to internet lii.org, you can find how librarians from different libraries of the West came together into a single platform, developed the direct subject directory called lii.org, librarians index to internet, and supporting the rural mass, supporting to the common users of the internet. So this you can information you can provide to the user. Say for example, the most relevant subject directories presently available in the web are Infomine, Yahoo directory, LII, Librarians Index to Internet, IPL, Internet Public Libraries. So all these tools you should tell your user to search first. Then if they are not getting something relevant or something fruitful of all these 25-30 odds resources are not enough for them, then you please advise them to move to search engine. So search should start from the subject directory, then you come to the search engine for a more comprehensive search. There are many different text-based search engines like Google, Yahoo, Northern Light, etc. Visual search engines are coming in a big way like Car2, ImageDewy, etc. But here again you need to know how to search these entities intelligently, because if you search something in Google, AltaVista or Northern Light, normally they provide huge number of resources. So try to teach your users, because you are the best teacher and you are the best searcher, how to search a particular special keyword provided by search engine like Google. How can we use the all in title keyword to retrieve a particular set of information available in the title of the document? How can we retrieve only a particular file type, say for example PDF or doc file, by using the special keywords file type colon? How can we restrict our search to a particular domain by using the keyword site colon? Now, if this search engines also fails and if you want much more comprehensive result, you can utilize or guide your user to move to the meta search engines. And meta search engine is an entity which supports you to search different search engines in one go. For example, you are searching a meta search engine, the the query provided by the user will be forwarded to different search engines. Meta search engine will collect information from those search engines, they will check duplicate and provide a unified list to the users. So this way meta search engines can be utilized for searching information from the web in a quick and easier way. So these are the tools you need to teach your user first. So if you go for a comparative study between the subject directory search engine and meta search engine, you see subject directories are important when we are actually trying to find out a list of highly relevant documents or a small set of highly relevant documents. When you need to make a comprehensive search on any concept, you can use search engine, but please remember to use different special keywords as I told you: in title, all in title, file type, then site colon. So by using these special keywords, you can search very easily the most relevant documents from the search engine databases. And for a very obsolete or rare kind of concept, you can go for meta search engine to search databases of all the search engines in one go. So these are the things you should teach, or you should orient your user towards the use of different kind of web search tools. The next important thing can be to develop a custom search engine. Now Google, Yahoo and many other search entities provide user to develop a indexing system for a small set of documents. Say for example, I want to create a Google subset for only 30 odd websites. So I need to go to the Google custom search engine. Here you can see the snapshot. Only condition is that you need to have the Gmail ID. By using your Gmail login and password, you can enter into Google custom search engine. There you can create a search engine by entering different websites of your, or different favorite websites or different targeted websites, but please remember you need to provide one URL in one line. Then after this data entry operation is over, you just save it and instruct Google to create a separate search engine for you. So it will create a custom search engine for you, provide you a separate URL that you can include in the home page or in your library OPAC, or you can give link. So that means you can create a selective search engine which will always produce relevant result against a particular category of information. For example, if you create a Google custom search engine for all open access journals and open access repositories available of on a subject field like botany, so all the information related to botany or plant science will produce much more better result by using the custom search engine. So please try it and teach your user how to develop Google custom search engine. So this is the role one through which you can orient your user towards different kind of services. Now the next role, what I think most important for public libraries, is to tap the open contents. You will be amazed to know that 82 million resources, including journal articles, technical reports, theses, standards, different kind of technical reports are available now free of cost. Only you need to know the sources, you need to know how to organize these sources and how to disseminate these sources. And public libraries all over the world are increasingly using scholarly open contents. They are actually customizing, they are creating indexing services and providing them those resources to the users. Now if you look into the screen, that you see that in the last calculation as available from ALA report on open access, during the 2001 to 2006, the wholesale price index increased in the tune of plus 11%. The journal price increased in the tune of plus 58%, and library budget all over the world reduced to minus 29%. So it's a report, ALA report on open access provided in 2007. You can easily guess or easily apprehend on the basis of these information sets provided that it is increasingly difficult for the libraries to keep pace with the exorbitant price rise of the electronic resources. So as an alternative, if public libraries are supporting open access movement can be supported by Act by acting as a consumer of information as well as contributor of information. But for the time being, if you off the second option, that is contribution part, as a consumer of open access resources, public libraries can play a big role. They can introduce these resources. Mostly people or users are not aware about these resources. Your role too will be introducing your user with these open contents, including the open learning object. You will be amazed to know NCERT is providing around 10,000 pages of free textbook. You can download, you can print. You introduced the children section, the members of the children section of your public library into these resources. Ministry of HRD started a new project called eBasta. So you can create a package of a particular class, you can incorporate different freely available learning materials there, and as a whole you can download the package. So this kind of resources, you create a list, introduced your members with this kind of available resources, and that will create a revolution in the public library services, because people do not know these resources available. That means public library should act as a point of presence, a point of utilization for the open access movement. Now, before entering into the details of open access, let me tell you the definition of open access. You see, open access is nothing new for the library people, because right from the inception of libraries we always support the free movement of knowledge. We do not charge for borrowing resources and any other things, a nominal charge for the membership only. So we always supported free movement of knowledge, and now the opportunity came before us to support a greater cause, that is called open access movement. Now, open access resources can be anything. It can be data, scientific data, historical data, geographical data. It can be content, journal papers, report, books, etc. It can be general information produced by the government or different other administrative bodies. But these are always available free of cost to the user without any constraint. That means these resources are socially open, legally open, that means lawfully you can use these particular resources, and technically open, that means these are technology neutral. Most of the cases these resources are available in open format like PDF format in place of proprietary format like doc format or PPT format. Now, the entire open access domain, as a librarian you should know, is divided into two basic groups. One is the gold path, another is the green path. Now, in the gold path, you can have number of open access journals. So that means when users are directly writing or contributing to the open access journals, the access to which always remains open, this is called the gold path. And another path is the green path, where authors already published their paper in different scholarly commercial journals, but the preprint version or the postprint version of that paper can still be archived in different digital repository, and those repositories are called open access repositories. So gold path, open access journal, green path, open access repositories, and altogether these two resources are providing you as a whole 80 million resources. As I told you, the gold path is providing a total of 20 million resources, and other resources are coming from the green path. So as public library professionals, you need to tap these resources. For example, you can see in the screen that DOAJ, a directory of open access journal, now covers around 10,500 plus journals and more than 20 million articles free of cost. Similarly, at the open access level, repository level, we have a directory of open access repositories which covers around 2,250 plus open access repositories on different disciplines. So these resources you need to promote, you need to introduce these resources to your users, and you can create custom search engine by Google custom search services as I shown you before. India is coming in a big way in the open access arena. Indian National Science Academy, all the journals are now published from the INSA are open access. All the journals provided by the NISCARE, a total of 35 plus journals are open access. And open door list around 67 plus repositories. You can look in the into the screen that 67 plus repositories are reported from India alone. InflipNet came with a very ambitious project called Shodhganga. 34,000 plus full text theses are available from Shodhganga. So all these resources are available free of cost, and you can easily provide these services to the user by creating a simple directory by using HTML hypertext markup language. At the global level, you can use Intuit, it's a subject gateway on social sciences. You can use SSRN, Social Science Research Network, provides 5 lakhs plus full text resources. You can use different kind of open learning object. MIT provides open courseware. The video lectures of the renowned faculty members are available free of cost. As I told you that India is doing a great in the open learning object, it is also doing in a great way. That Commonwealth of Learning is doing it in a great way. Then UGC came up with consortia for educational resources. IGNOU provided us the eGancos repository services related on the basis of open learning object. Then CEC learning object repository again developed by UGC. SALIS developed by Commonwealth of Learning, and NPTEL, you can see the snapshot provided by the IIT Chennai. It's a pan IIT movement. All the lectures, coursework related to different engineering branches are available free of cost and provided by the eminent professors of different IITs. Role 3 should be, so role 1 we just pointed out how can you orient your user to the web document. Role 2, how to promote and how to utilize open content. And role 3 is the how you can use open source software and open standards for designing services based on open contents. And as a library professional, you know that libraries are basically using two types of software. One is the system software like operating system, and application software like different kind of software which are meant for performing particular job like word processing, database management system, etc. Now this is the division of software as per their domain of activities. If you divide software, you can see the snapshot by distribution policy. Software can be of two types: closed source software and open source software. Open source softwares are available free of cost along with the source code, so that you can customize the content of the software to suit your requirements. What are the differences? Closed source software, only binary files are available against license fees. You need to pay to procure them. No source code is available and you cannot customize. In case of open source software, the binary file as well as the source code available to you free of cost. You can go for extensive customization to suit the requirements of your library. Now definitely the next logical question coming to your mind, that what are the different open source software available for performing different library activities. Let me tell you, the entire application software related to the library domain are mainly based on the LAMP architecture. So that means you are using Linux as an operating system, Apache as web server, MySQL or PostgreSQL as RDBMS, Perl or PHP as programming environment. So on the top of this LAMP architecture, Linux, Apache, MySQL, Perl and PHP, many open source library software, domain specific library softwares are coming, which are actually you can apply for different library activities. For example, I talked about the community communication and interaction tool, discussion forum, bulletin board, blog, etc. Here you see in the snapshot the discussion forum and bulletin board, we have PHP Mini BB, Discuss and many more. Blog, we have WordPress, Blogger. Digital library, we have Greenstone, Dispace, Fedora, iTor, MyCore, ePrint and many more. Library automation, we have a total of 14 open source software: Koha, Emilda, PHP My Library, NewgenLib, WebPlease, etc. In the e-learning domain, we have Moodle, eTutor, OpenCourseWare, .rl, Brihaspati, developed by IIT Kanpur. Office automation, equivalent to MS Office, we have OpenOffice, LibreOffice, Star Office, we have photo management software, GIMP, Impress, graphics, Irfan View, Picasa, text retrieval engine, Suisi, Zebra, Lucene, Solar, and many more. So you name it, we have it, kind of thing. So according to your requirement, you search the open source software repository which is available through sourceforge.net, and from there or from the respective website you can download the open source software, you can install it. Lot of supporting documents are available, and possibly against this program you will be having a ready-made, uh, ready to use, ready to install software package for your public library system. So after that, role 3, that is how can you use open source software and open standards. Now the next role, possibly the role 4, indic script based retrieval and interfaces. You see, 95% of the Indian people cannot read, write or speak in English. So only 5% people in India can read, write and speak English, and 95% of the library services are meant for them only. By 2020, Hindi and Bengali will be in top 5 mostly spoken languages of the world. Ever growing resources in Indian languages on the web. So library system in India need to have a multi-script information retrieval system, and this is the need of the time, and more so with the public libraries, because if you go through your own collection you will find that 75 to 80% of your resources are available in your local regional language. In case of Tamil Nadu it can be Tamil, in case of Bengal it is in Bengali, in case of Gujarat it is in Gujarati. But most of the public libraries who are automated are providing these resources in Roman script, that is transliterated form. So that is not an ideal solution to provide information support to the disadvantaged sections of the people. So they need to have their services in their own languages. Now you will be amazed to know that there is a great unity in the diversity in indic script. All scripts originated from the Brahmi. Around 12,000 AD they took a soft turn. One group became the northern language, another group became the Dravidian language, including Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam. And now as origin is Brahmi script, many things are common in different Indian languages. So that's a great advantage from the point of view of computing of multilingual resources. For example, if you take the Devanagari as a script, by using Devanagari script, many languages are, uh, you know, uh, uh, many languages are flourished. That means if your system can handle Devanagari script, you can provide support for Hindi language, for Nepali, for Konkani, for Bhojpuri, Moithili. So altogether 5-6 different languages you can cover if you are using Devanagari as a script in your system. Similarly, if you are using Bengali script or you can support Bengali script, then you are supporting the language Bengali, Assamese, Vishnupriya Manipuri, Moiti, even Sileti. So these are the important things in providing multilingual information resources. We started the standardization with the ISKI in 1983 by Department of Electronics. Now the whole world moved towards the Unicode. Unicode is a 2-byte code, you can see from the screen. It can handle a word in 16-bit. It's universal, efficient and convertible. Mainly based on the indic script group is mainly based on the ISKI 88 standard. Present version is 5.x and it supports 3 different forms: UTF-8, UTF-16 and UTF-32. and you can look into the screen that this is the code spec for Bengali language, Arabic language, Devanagari language. So each particular code space is provided by the Unicode for different Indian languages. To develop a Unicode compliant library system, your operating system must be Unicode compliant, your text editor must be Unicode compliant, your programming environment should be Unicode compliant. So these are the system level requirement. Now suppose you want to support a particular index script. So your database management system, your virtual keyboard and rendering engine and open type font. These four things should support that particular language. So as a whole, you need at the system level Unicode compliance for the operating systems, text editor, programming environment and database management system. Then you need to provide support for a particular language. You need to collect virtual keyboard, rendering engine and open type fonts related to that particular language. And we are very fortunate that a Government of India project called TDIL, Technology Development for Indian Languages, they are providing all required tools related to all constitutionally recognized languages. You can download and you can incorporate. Now suppose you want to develop automated library system or digital library system for your public library. So you can have operating system, any Linux based system, Ubuntu can be utilized, text editor either Notepad or UniEdit or gedit, different programming environment like PHP, Perl and JSP, different backend database management system like MySQL, PostgreSQL, etc. You can use library automation software like Koha, Emilda, Newgenlib. You can use digital library software like Greenstone, DSpace, Fedora, virtual keyboard available as I told you from TDIL. So in this way, now you see the snapshot. This represents the Bengali language interface of DSpace, the latest version. So the whole interface can be developed by using a particular language. Then you can search. This again in the screen, it is the Bengali language interface of Koha. So the same technology you can extend to other languages also like Hindi, Gujarati, Tamil, Telugu, etc. You can search in the local language. And the next snapshot shows you how you can change the interface of Greenstone in a particular language. Here for example in the Bengali language in Greenstone. So there you can search, you can use different Boolean operator, it will retrieve result in the local language and you can search, retrieve, display in local language. So third role, as I told you, it should be the multilingual public library system. And the fourth role should be the outreach and extension. When you oriented your user towards the digital environment, then you actually in the role to tap different open contents. In the role 3 organized by using different open source software and open source open standards. And finally in the role 4 you can go to outreach and extension. So this particular domain, community information service, is possibly the most important, which will provide lot of citizen facing information services. For example, in the screen you can see how a particular Bengali script based community information services we have developed for the public library system in West Bengal. Here it is integrated with the all are open source, where we have utilized OpenEnrich developed by UNESCO and Koha as library management software. We integrated these two software by using different open standards, and it can support search, browse, interaction with the other community members, opinion poll services. User can interact with the librarian, they can post their voice message, and they can become a registered member of the system to access different community information resources. It allows searching and browsing from the same interface. It's an integration of Mark 21 bibliographic format and Mark 21 community information format. So in this way, these 5 roles we can actually follow to change our public library system. So happy learning.